Hey everybody, it is going to be 2020 in exactly 2 months because hopefully I'll be able to upload this video by November 3rd, 2nd, who cares, November, early November, that's what we're gonna do here. So it's gonna be 2020 and instead of showing you guys new content, I'm gonna do an Inktober 2018 flip through. So I had a lot of fun making the 2019 flip through, mainly because I was showing you guys what I did right and what I did wrong. But there were more things right than wrong, so I felt better. However, the 2018 flip through, it's gonna get very wrong. So we're gonna talk about what I did right, what I did wrong, what I like, what I don't like, and basically it's just an excuse for me to flip through it. So let's do that. So, as you can see from this little booklet thing, it is terribly bound, and that's what we're mainly going to talk about today. So I have never, until I started binding my Inktober's, I had never bound anything in my life, which I think for me is a little weird considering all I ever do is books. I talk about books, I read books, I draw books, that's all I do. I have flip books, I have sketchbooks, I have kids books, that's all I do. So you would think that I would be better at binding. And if you thought that, you would be wrong. So let's talk about that. I basically had already made a booklet for my previous Inktober. If you guys have seen my original sketchbook flip through, you would have already seen the work that I did for Inktober 2017 and for Inktober 2018. Why? Because it's all in this fat thing. So this is my previous sketchbooks, and I had it for basically 2.5 years. 3, give or take. And what I had the first few days was my original Inktober. And some of them I liked, some of them I didn't like because my skills just weren't up there just yet for me personally. But Inktober 2017 was a challenge for my time management skills, in all honesty. Then we had Inktober 2018, and Inktober 2018 was themed, it was planned, and it was limited. For the fall quarter of 2018, I was really busy because I was in a lot of different classes. I was doing a program with a few other kids from different majors because it was kind of like a competition type deal. I was doing things for my portfolio. I was just doing a lot. So I gave myself a theme, and that theme was witches, and I gave myself a number, and that number was 13. So out of all 13 girls that are in this sketchbook, I had wanted to preserve them off of the sketchbook so that I would just have a place where I could show people what I did for Inktober, not just my whole sketchbook, because people tend to get really distracted, and I get it because same, and that's why I wanted to do it. So I went to a print shop and I got them printed out on cardstock, and that is why we have this little flip through book. Originally, I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. I printed them out to have them. I didn't know if I wanted them to be little postcard size, little booklets. I didn't know. I just printed them out to have them because I was really busy. And I promised myself that I would bind them later. And I technically did. I gave myself a really long sheet of paper like this, and I glued them down. And I had a little accordion book because, like I said, I had never bound anything before, and an accordion book seemed like the best shot. It was simple. All I had to do was glue them onto a long sheet of cardstock, and I had it for a while. And, you know, that was okay because it wasn't like I was showing it to everybody all the time. It was simply to preserve the pages. But there were some issues at my old house, i.e. there was a house fire. Everything's fine. Everyone was safe. You know, the ordeal of the house fire is another trauma for another time. But as you probably can tell, fire, smoke, and water damage are probably not good for paper. So I saved all my art, and I saved the original images, but some of them got crusty. I don't know if you guys can can probably tell, but like some images have some damage on it, and that was just driving me insane because, well, I'm a Virgo and I just don't like that. So I ended up removing them from the original cardstock, which, in case you've ever worked with that, you probably already tell that that meant that there was some damage on the back where the paper didn't all come off. And it was ugly and it was driving me crazy. So I figured, since I was already binding the Inktober's that I was doing this year, that I should also do it this time, and this one was gonna be my trial run. So I ended up using the same kind of binding that I did here on my big sketchbook, but, you know, better. So the binding that I did for my Inktober 2019 ones are much tighter, probably because it's many more pages, and I have elastic bands on the other one so that I can keep the structure. But this one was my trial run. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not loose, it's not coming off, but it could definitely be better. Second of all would be the laminate. So I ended up gluing a lot of them together so that they could be fronts and backs, because I didn't like the idea of the damaged cardstock being able to be shown through the back. I didn't like that. So I ended up gluing them together, and I had made many mistakes when gluing them together, I'm not gonna lie. Some of them, the glue was just too much. It went through it, and that was bothersome because it was already damaged anyway. Some of them, like this one over here, I had accidentally forgotten that I made her. So for some reason, even though I knew that I made 13 witches, and that was literally my theme, I forgot I made 13. I thought I had 12, and I accidentally glued this old girl over here to the green cardstock to have a front and back, and then I remembered that little Marnie over here was missing, and that needed to be fixed. So things happened. There's also problems with the lamination, because since I wanted to laminate them to make sure that everything stayed exactly where it was supposed to go, some of them had some mistakes. There's a lot of overlapping laminate, which you can probably tell on a lot of them. Some you can't really tell all that much because the back color is much lighter, but on some of them it is just egregious. It is bad. What else can I talk about when it comes to the lamination? Oh yeah, okay, so the plan was, in my head, everything went so much smoother. The plan was to laminate them and to have the folds of the lamination happen right here so that it would be perfect on both sides. This one came out exactly how I wanted to, and I'll definitely remember that for next time if I ever do that method again. But for some of them, I just completely didn't even think about the folds, and that's why you get pages where you have like a layer of laminate, a layer of paper, a layer of paper, a layer of paper, and then another layer of laminate. So it's just like a little cake that you have to be careful not to rip through. So that's also a problem. But at the end of the day, this little booklet, it wasn't gonna be safe anyway. So this was more like, this was a trial run, and some parts I succeeded in, some parts I failed in, and you know, most of it was just a learning curve, and I'm pretty proud of it. I did this one first before I did it with the ones I'm actually proud of in 2019. And it's not like I don't have other examples of my work from last Inktober. I always have my alt sketchbook to look through. This is just for me to have like an archive of what I've done. But I also have these. So for senior year, when I was down at school, I had to come up with little foldables or little samples to show other people the work that I have, to show them what I made. And because I was so proud of the work that I did for Inktober, I made several different ones. I made just my Inktobers so that people could have examples of my portraiture, and then I have a fold out of just book illustration images, which is a completely separate one that I'm not going to talk about. For this one, I made more than enough because I printed them on a really, really long sheet of paper down by the printing place. 52 inches long. Yeah, a lot. And for half of them, I ended up sending them, and the other half I'm keeping so that I can sell on my Etsy. So if anyone really likes witches, it doesn't have to be Halloween, you can just get some at my Etsy. I also have these two little girls over here. So I made Hermione and I made Glinda stickers because I wanted an excuse to practice Photoshop. So I wanted to practice, you know, overlays and textures. Same thing I did for my Inktobers, and I actually turned them into vinyl stickers. Once again, if anyone wants those, let me know because I have a buck ton. And then I made, I made previously, so before I even had an Etsy, so I made little stickers. Mainly because I wanted little baby stickers for myself for my future notebooks because I am already starting a new one, so that's great. And others because I like to have like a little surprise pack of 10. So I'm just gonna put the link to my Etsy on the end of this video so you guys can see all the stuff that I've made. But really, what I wanted to talk about for the most of this video is failures and successes. So failures, obviously, it's always great to know what your failures are so that you can work on them. Failures would obviously be the binding and the laminate. Successes, however, would be theme. I had products to show, I had things to do, at the end of the day, I had a great Inktober because it helped me to practice, and that's what we're here for. So that is my Inktober 2018 flip through. Hopefully I'll see you guys later. If you guys have anything you guys want me to show on my YouTube page, I will probably try to get to that in the new year because I think for this next year, 2020, I'm definitely going to try to be more active on my social media because, you know, how else is an artist going to show their work? Where else are you going to see me? So if you have anything that you guys want me to show you guys, exactly like I said for my Inktober one, let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram, write a comment on YouTube, whatever it is that you want to do. Honestly, I don't care. As long as you tell me what you guys want to see. I am probably going to be filming a mural soon because I think I have an upcoming mural project soon. I don't exactly know the date, but I'll probably be filming that to show you guys soon. But you know, in the meantime, if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know. Thanks, guys.